Alright guys, this week's obstacle of the week is just as much mental as it is physical, because as you can see we have this row of hanging stuff. You're probably wondering how this is different than the others, but today I'm only going to be using one hand on this, and the other hand is going to be on these ledges, the cliffhanger ledges. I have to make it across, down and back, and then I'm going to have to switch and do left hand on the ledge, right hand on these, go down and back this way. So it's going to be different because I'm going to have to process two different things, which you don't usually have to do with Ninja. It's usually all cliffhanger or all grips or whatever it is. So it's going to be kind of a mental thing to keep track of both. I'm curious to see how that goes, and if that wasn't hard enough, as you can see, they're on an incline, so I also have to deal with that. So there's gonna be a lot to keep track of. Let's see how it goes. By the way, today I'm gonna be giving a bit more opinions on A&W 15 because I'm enjoying it and I want to talk about it. I have some issues with it, but I am kind of enjoying it. All right, here we go. So. Whoops, I missed on that ledge. Okay, hopefully it gets better from here. I don't know how to handle this. That's called a course malfunction. All right, so I think I'm gonna take this off. I have a second bungee that's has a bit more on it. It's gonna nerf the obstacle a bit because it's easier to grab, but all right, so now it's time for an A&W intermission. I'm gonna start by talking about the obstacles, which I think are one of the biggest positives because they're really good this year. I like the pole vault replacing the steps. It's not the most, like, I don't love it, but just the fact that they're replacing the steps is great. They have lots of good ideas for like fifth obstacles this year. I love the cubes. I like all of them actually. They're all pretty good. Lasso launch is tough, but it's a good idea. Ring the bells is it seems kind of simple, but I like it. The fourth obstacles, it's all the fourth and fifth obstacles are new this season. I think, yeah. The balance obstacles are both repeats, which I kind of wish they had a new one, but I get it. Balance obstacles are kind of hard to come up with, but I like both of those. The second obstacles, I don't love the roller coaster, but I like the new Grease Lightning. It's simple but tough. So yeah, I like the obstacles here. I don't like the repetition, like they only have 2 or 3 obstacles in each slot. I miss when they had regions that change every week, but I get it. We're not gonna get back to those days of changing obstacles every week and going in different regions. It's sad, but I don't think we're gonna get back to that. But I will get back to this review right after this. Now back. All right, we're halfway done, guys. So I guess it's time for me to do another part of the review. I'll talk about the races next. The racing idea feels a bit contrived right now because it's the 12th person versus the 13th person, which feels kind of arbitrary. It's fair, but it seems kind of random to have those two people race. But I get they want to introduce the racing. I'm not a fan of the racing in semifinals, and definitely not a fan of the racing in Vegas. But they kind of have a bunch of new twists every year. It's a lot, but they kind of jumped the shark, to be honest. But I'm saying all this kind of negative stuff, but I still like the show a lot. It's still like the only thing I watch, so there's that. I can't complain too much. And I do appreciate that the split decision's gone, because I think it's good when you add new twists to kind of simplify other things. Otherwise, it's just like endless twists. So yeah, the racing, I think is kind of silly, especially when you have like a 4th obstacle fail versus a 2nd obstacle fail, which you've had a lot. But I do like the race. The race course is good. They have a new step obstacle, which is nice, the home run. And they have a bunch of it's more challenging than I'd expect a race course to be, and they change a couple obstacles, so it's good. Like I don't like racing personally on that show, but as I said, the changes are kind of unavoidable, so for what it is, I don't mind it. And yeah, I think it's okay. I think the fact that they only have 30 competitors makes it seem kind of silly when like someone who failed the 2nd or 3rd obstacle moves on. It kind of back when they had 100, you had to make it to the 4th or 5th always, or almost always. So it seems silly, and it kind of makes the majority of the course pointless. But again, I get it, budget cuts, and growing 100 people is kind of inefficient, probably. 30 people can still give them a show. So I guess they go with that. Oh, that brings me to another point, that the show is an hour long now instead of 2 hours, which is good, I think. I always like tradition and keeping the thing I'm used to, so I kind of miss the 2 hours. But I think 1 hour is better for people's attention spans right now, I think. Anyway, that was a long talk just to not have to do this obstacle again, but here we go. So now we have the right hand on the cam ball and the left hand on the cliff. So it's opposite. Let's see if I can deal with that switch. Whoa. Kind of chickened out. The thing about this challenge is you have to have a lock off for a lot of it, which is actually a good little side thing that I consider. It forces you to have lots of lock off strength, but it does make it scary because you can hit your head and stuff. So yeah. All right, back to my ninja thing, because I feel like I'm gonna finish this in a couple of attempts, so I should keep going with that. So I'll talk about the competitors now. You don't see many competitors per episode because it's only an hour. They don't have as many long stories, which I appreciate. It's more, it's like run after run. We still only get like 10 rounds an episode. The only thing I don't really like, or the main thing I don't like, is they have a lot of like influencers and TikTok people now, which is like, I don't know. I don't like TikTok. I think it's stupid. YouTube though, obviously, I love. Even YouTube's kind of stupid. But yeah, I think the TikTok stuff is kind of annoying, and they're inviting people that are kind of just famous and not good at ninja, which I don't appreciate. I get it because they're trying to appeal to an audience that wouldn't normally watch, but it's still kind of dumb to me. But again, it's unavoidable. I know we've kind of just gotten into that territory. Back in the old days, 10 years ago, we didn't have to do that, but now it's kind of like that. So you just gotta accept it. But yeah. And the only other thing that's kind of annoying, and I don't want to sound like mean here, I was a teenager myself 8 months ago. But there's kind of a lot of teenagers for the show. Like, I'm fine with there being some, but I feel like they kind of get too into that and having too many of them. It seems like they've had too many people join, which also makes it confusing to watch because it's like all new people, because they're all like people that couldn't compete in the past. I didn't watch last season, which isn't helping my whole situation, but I feel like it's just lots of new people and it's hard to keep track of. And it's kind of resulting in the veterans that we know getting cut, which is annoying. And I don't like when like the people that have been competing who are like in their 30s or whatever, it's like, oh, they're old. These people are new. Like, I don't like that. Maybe it's because I'm just worried about being old. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's kind of annoying. It seems kind of forced. And to be honest, their audience, I believe, is mostly like senior citizens now. So it's kind of a weird thing, like getting younger people to appeal to them. Whatever works, I guess, but it's kind of weird. Just in terms of like, it doesn't seem like it would help that much. Same with all the TikTok stuff. Like, I guess they're trying to appeal to a younger audience, but I don't know. I don't think it's working out that well. It doesn't help that Netflix and stuff is taking over, and I hate that because I like cable and I just don't really like all the streaming platforms that much. I kind of just like whatever I'm used to and not new stuff. So yeah, again, that's why Ninja's hard to watch these days, because it's all new stuff. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think its days are numbered, and I think like most of the shows I like on cable are kind of numbered at this point in the days. But I just hope, you know, I try to keep watching it because I don't really like any reality stuff. So yeah, I'll stick with this to the bitter end, I guess. Or not reality, you know what I mean, like scripted stuff. So the writer's strike, I guess, is good for me. But if you're wondering why my commentary has been so bad recently, it's because my writer is on strike. They've been on strike for like the past 7 years I've had this channel, but soon I'll get them back and my script will improve, don't worry. Alright, anyway, let's get back to this thing. It's like all talk, no action, literally. Oh, I forgot my left hand has to stay on the cliff ledges. Oh boy, I think this is harder. I don't know what that means. I'm right-handed, so I think the cliffhanger ledges are harder, so maybe it's better to have my dominant hand on those because they're harder. I don't know. Or maybe it's because I'm not focusing because I'm talking so much. That's probably the main thing. All right, here we go. Oh, I missed the ledge. Yeah, I think having the bungee in the middle is also hard because this is definitely the hardest grip of all of these. And usually I can just get it all the way at the start and kind of hang from it at the end. But having to go on this and then go back, I think makes it harder. So the bungee might be the main thing now. All right, my last thing to talk about right now, I'll probably think of something else once I finish filming because that's how it works. But the last note is that they're filming seasons 15 and 16 together, or they film them together, which I don't like. Because first of all, it just seems kind of like the end of the show if they're filming two at once. That's one thing, and it also feels kind of like sloppy that next year's season is already filmed. And there's just some weird scenarios that could come into play, like someone could win 15 but they weren't invited to 16, so they don't get to compete the next season after they win because they're filmed together, so they didn't know. Or it's just weird, like someone could compete in Vegas twice, or they could qualify in 15, fail in 16, but then still compete in Vegas after failing in 16 because 15 and 16 Vegas were filmed afterward. There's just some weird things that you can think of like that. And there's also some weird things on the show where they ask if someone's coming back next season, which has already been filmed, and it's like, I don't know if I'll be back next season, and it's like, you already filmed it, so, or you're about to film it, so you know. Just to make the TV show like work, they say like, oh, I don't know if I'll be back next year, but next year is actually this year, and they do know. Like when Brian Crutch failed, he said he didn't know if he'd come back, but he probably did because they filmed it like a week later, so he probably knew. But they have you lie so that the TV magic doesn't wear off, I guess. And yeah, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend another year training for this. And the thing is, you don't have to spend another year because they're filming it next week. But it's when you know that, it's weird. The general audience probably doesn't know that it was filmed at the same time, but it's not getting past me because I'm smart like that. All right, anyway, let me get back to this. Hopefully I can win it here because my camera's kind of low on battery. Let's go. All right, so that's it for this challenge, guys. It's kind of good that I chose this week to talk because there wasn't actually much footage of me doing the obstacle because it was pretty quick. But this is a good challenge. You get lots of lock-off strength and you just kind of you have to focus more. So I think it's a good and different challenge. I've never tried it before, but yeah, it went pretty well, I think. I appreciate it, guys. Next week I'm gonna be back with another challenge where I'm on a bike, which will also be kind of a different challenge. And until then, thank you guys for watching. See you next week.